Hello, ladies. Happy Sunday. I hope you are all having a great day. I thought I'd just jump on here and 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hello, ladies. Happy Sunday. And welcome to the Second Act Collective. So I thought I'd just jump on here and talk to ladies for a while. And it's Sunday afternoon. We just came back from church and had a great time. Always the word of God is the worship and the word of God is always, nourishing to your soul. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the church that we have. What are you doing this Sunday? What did you do this Sunday? So I'm having some tea, which is, I don't drink coffee, I drink tea. But I just wanted to share some thoughts, random thoughts, nothing structured, no lesson, anything. Well, maybe some lessons, but I just wanted to talk about life really. And kind of what I'm experiencing really at this stage in my life and just life, honestly. So this weekend, I spent a lot of time with my daughter, of course, going through her college stuff and looking at different colleges. I think I shared in my other video about, using AI to kind of figure out what career path, which has been very helpful. But now it's really kind of narrowing down the colleges as well, and kind of figuring out which ones she wants to go visit and see, the campuses and stuff. So a lot going on, which is fun, but it is very time consuming. But I'm learning because I have my two other younger sons who are coming up. So I might as well get the practice now while I'm helping her. So it's been very interesting. And then I was just thinking of, when you're starting over, which is a lot of stuff we talk about here, when you're starting over from like zero. So for me, I feel like I've had those moments where I've started over from zero. And I think I do have another video that I talked about having, starting over and starting new. So, which I think that's probably going to come up in a few days or weeks, I'm not sure. But just starting over from zero and the kind of mindset that you have to have and how that feels like, especially when you've done something before, you've built something before and just starting over. And it can be scary. And I'm talking really just through my experiences. A lot of the things I share here is about how I've gone through things. But my experience on YouTube, which is, I've committed to posting every day, at least for the next 100 days. So I'm saying this so that somebody out there can keep me accountable as well. But that's the plan. But I also have, 3 kids and a life and the AI consultant stuff and a lot of things that I'm doing, that I have going on. But my intention and my goal is to do that. But this was starting over with, without any 0 subscribers, starting from scratch to just do this YouTube thing. And sometimes when you're starting from zero, it's scary, right? Because you kind of have to face certain things about yourself. And I realized I had the fear of like showing up. And I think a lot of us women, we have that. The reason we don't want to be online is because, there's a fear. And a lot of it is just fear of showing up, fear of being visible, which happens to a lot of us. And it's not easy. But I realized that the reason that I had to give myself this thing, the push that I was going to post every day, and try to do a video every day and post every day, is because I had to push myself out of that comfort zone of, and really the fear of being visible, the fear of being online, the fear of being seen. You think, after so many years of doing so many things, and I know this happens to a lot of us, especially women who are capable, women who have achieved something in life, which at this stage everybody has, no matter what it is, no matter what area it is, we've all accomplished something. the fact that you're still alive means there's something that you've accomplished. So, it's just there's the fear of, well, what are people gonna think? What are people gonna say? People, relatives, family, whatever, friends. There's all that fear that can come with, being visible. So for myself, this is a pushing myself out of the comfort zone of something that, that I've thought of doing for a long time. And I've done some videos and kind of started, I had some another channel that I had for like productivity that I was doing, but I was never consistent. And I think that was the main thing. I think there's a lot of us out there who have, started something, but we are not really consistent. And so I thought to myself, if I make this commitment that I'm going to post every day for the next 100 days at least, hopefully a whole year, and I'm not doing this for anyone else, but for myself, because I need to get over the fear of being visible, of being online. And I also need to develop the muscle to be consistent in my life, because I've not, I'm consistent in a lot of other things, but I think it's the consistency in, doing things that way are visible. I think in a lot of my areas in my life, I'm okay, and I'm very consistent in things, going after my goals. But I realize when it comes to being visible, to be online, to do things on, where my face and my voice is out there, if there was like, ooh, the cringing, doing it. I do force myself to do it cringy. And I'm honestly not really editing much out of these videos. I just sit down. Of course, I have to cut out like the parts that I'm sitting down or standing up, but I'm trying not to edit, and sometimes I'm like, oh, the quality is not so good, but I'm just forcing myself to do it, because I realize if I don't grow this muscle, I'm not going to be the person that I really want to be in this next chapter. So I don't know where you are in terms of, what you're going through. Actually, hold on, I need to check for something. And that. So I don't know where you are in your life, or the things that you feel like you need to challenge yourself. Tea. I love ginger tea with, I think this is mango and stuff in it. I don't know where you are in life and the things that you feel like you need to push yourself. And it takes more effort, of course, when you're in your 40s, 50s, whatever, to do certain things. But I think just looking, for me, I had to look at the YouTube as just a playground I'm going to play in, just a place that I'm going to do experiments, right? I'm not going in there. Yes, I want the views. I want, I want a big channel, whatever, but I'm really doing this for myself to grow that muscle, to also have the confidence to be online and to do something like this. Because I've never, I guess in terms of confidence, I'm very confident, like, doing meetings, in-person meetings with people. I've done that, for my business and stuff, for events and stuff. I'm very confident. But the confidence I didn't have was to be on a platform like YouTube or Instagram or whatever. So this was a push to make this commitment. And I am committed to it. And I am proud of myself that I've been posting all these videos so far. And I just want to see the other side, like, who am I after the 100 videos or after the 300 videos or whatever videos that I do? What is that going to do to me? And also, I guess the other thing about doing this was to find my voice in some way. And I say find my voice, I guess I mean in terms of, you feel like you have been living this long, right? I'm 48 right now, turning 49, so soon to be 50. And I just feel like I've not been able to fully express myself. I've been so busy building a family, building a business, building a home, taking care of people, that I just feel like my voice has not been heard like something was being suppressed, that I was not fully expressing myself. And so I wanted a place where I can do that, where I can freely talk about things that matter to me. Again, whether it's elegant living, whether it's finance, whether it's business, with whatever the things that I enjoy talking about, whether it's technology. But I just wanted a place where I can express myself. And I think a lot of women, we go through that in our, especially in our late 40s, where we just feel like we've been stifled. And not necessarily by people, because I wouldn't say that this is how my life has been. I'm very assertive. I'm very some people say blunt. I speak my mind. But I still feel like there was some restraining, some not full expression of myself in some way. To a lot of times, I think it was to make other people comfortable, because I came out as being too much. Maybe you've come through that, where you felt like people think you're too much, and because of your personality or whatever it is. And they kind of feel threatened. So for you to not make feel threatened by your presence, you kind of make yourself small. And I think that's what I've been struggling with for a number of years, is the fact that I just felt like I had made my life small to accommodate people around me. I had made my life small to make people around me very comfortable, because I felt like I intimidated people because of who I am. And so this gives me a chance to really express that out, and to come out of that kind of shell, which it's like there's so many layers to us. You can be very confident in other areas, and then in some areas you feel like, oh, I'm being suppressed, I'm being, it's just weird, I think. But I think that is life. That's what happens to us, especially women. So here I am. I'm like, I'm gonna do this thing, this YouTube thing, and show my face and talk. And really, one of the things that I would want to do is to become a speaker. So I'm like, really the only way to improve my speaking capabilities is gonna be me speaking. The more I talk, the more I can really express myself clearly, but I can't be that if I'm not practicing. And so what is the best place to practice? It is YouTube, right? So I'm trying to really develop myself in areas that I've wanted to develop myself, like to articulate my thoughts, to articulate my desires, to articulate things that I feel and want, in a way that can be understood. And I'm sure, my some of the videos that I've done, or I'm gonna do, probably will not be that clear. But this is a practice ground for me, a playground that I've decided that I'm gonna do this, and I'm doing it for myself. And I really don't care, what people think. I want people to, get value from what I say, to learn whatever from the lessons that I've had in my life. The simple, especially for women, I want them to, if they can take something from what I'm doing and have the courage and be bold, then, that's what I would want. But I just realized I wanted to do this for myself. And maybe there's something that you want to do for yourself as well, to develop certain parts of you that you feel like maybe in the past they've been kind of, I don't know, they've been suppressed. And I am, when I say that word, it's not like, yeah, suppression, people are doing this to but sometimes it's very subtle. And I think for women, until you're at a certain age, sometimes you don't realize that there's a form of suppression in your life that you have not been aware of, that you cannot really put a name to it, but you just, again, is the feeling like you're being silenced. Not that people are doing it purposely, but the way they make you feel, or the comments that are made, is so that you become small and you start to shrink yourself, continuously shrinking who you are, so that you can kind of survive in the environment you are, or live peacefully in the environment you are, or whatever, or fit in, right, in whatever environment you are. And that's, I don't know, you just get to a point where you're like, yeah, I'm almost 50. I do not want to continue living this way. Like, enough already. Right. So yeah, this is kind of my Sunday musing on things that, in life that, we are all going through. And you just think, it is interesting. And I'm hoping that you are also, as you're looking at me as I'm posting these videos, that I'm inspiring you to do the thing that will make you bolder, and that will make you do things that are out of your comfort zone, that you can have the courage, because I feel like it is the courage and the boldness that we need to do a lot of things. And mine is, posting on YouTube, because I've been through a lot of things that I am like, oh, did I even go through all those things in my life? And I've been very bold and very courageous in a lot of areas. But excuse me, the one thing about, I don't know, the thing about being visible, there's something about it that we all cringe and we don't want to, and then you think, oh, my voice sounds so horrible. I remember the first time I did I think it was a workshop or something for the women I was working and coaching. And I listened to it and I thought, oh my gosh, my voice sounds horrible, right? Because we never get to hear our voices until we play that replay and you're listening to yourself. You're like, is that how I sound? And you're surprised at how you sound. I think that's why it's so hard to like watch your own video, because you're kind of surprised. And you do have to get used to how you sound, actually. You have to get used to how you sound. You have to get used to watching yourself, to see your expressions, because you don't get to see that when you're talking to people. So yeah, I think those are just the funny experiences of that, and the things you need to get over if you're going to be online, if you're going to be posting and stuff, is just the fact that you won't like your voice and how it sounds. I had to get used to mine. Like, well, that is the voice that God gave me, and it's for a reason, and I'm happy I have a voice. So here we go. I'm just gonna have to post. So that's kind of, that is life. But something else that I'm doing, which, let me see, this is February, and I'm trying, which I've tried this before, trust me, and kind of failed, but I'm trying to read at least 2 books a month. And I think last year I did that for a while. And then, of course, that fell off the wagon. Life happens and things happen and you just get distracted. But again, I'm trying to commit myself to reading at least 2 books in a month. So the month of February, I'm reading this book by Ed Rush. And I don't know if you can see it. There it is. It says, it's called God Talks. So it's how to have a friendship with God, even if you have made a million mistakes. So I'm a Christian, as you all know. And so I think I attended one of his seminars or thing that he had online. And I ended up getting the book because I really want, I believe I talk to God and I hear God already. But I think there are other areas, is why I got this book. Because like, I feel like in terms of like business stuff, and the way I even ran my business, the first business that I had, I feel like I was just talking to God when I was in trouble with something, or I needed help with something. And that I never like had, I think once in a while I would have like a business meeting with God, and I want to improve that in this second business that I'm doing. I want to be able to talk to God about the business ideas that I have, the things, even the things I post online. Like, I just feel like spiritually, I was in a good place with God in terms of, my life in general, and just the, I would say like the big picture of like my business stuff that I was doing. And I think this year, and in this consultant business that I have, I really want to improve in talking to God about my business and what's going on, and not leave that part of my life and kind of just being vague with him there, or just going to him when I need help. So that's why I've got this book. So I just started reading it yesterday. So we'll see. The author's name is Ed Rush. If you're looking, I think it's on Amazon. It's called God Talks, which I'm gonna be diving in, and I'll probably tell you ladies what I learned from it. But I believe from just listening to me, I think it's gonna be a good book. And I definitely want to improve on the topics that I talk to God about. And one of them being about business and what I'm doing. the nitty-gritties of the business of my business instead of just like the overall thing. So this is one that I want to read this month. And then this one, which is the psychology of money, which is says the timeless lessons on wealth, greed, and happiness by Morgan Housel. I think his last name is Housel. You can also find this on Amazon. But this is a very good book. And this I started to read actually a while ago. And I think I finished it, but I want to reread it again this year and kind of really take like notes. And I'm also probably gonna maybe do a YouTube video on it. But it's a very powerful book about understanding your way of thinking about money. And I think even this one, the God Talks, also address our beliefs about what do we believe about money or about God. And so I kind of thought this would be two books that are good to go together. So I'm going to be reading this one to him this month. And, you know, I'm trying to be consistent in some of the things that I've promised myself or that I say I'm going to do. I really want to be consistent in reading because there was a time I used to read a lot, you know, especially after I finished my MBA and I started my first business. I was reading like, oh my gosh, I don't know, 2-3 books a month, especially on personal development and money and stuff, because I wanted in business, I wanted to understand business. Just having started this business, you know, I wanted to understand it. So I read a lot and I kind of missed that about myself, that I was so well read. And then over the years, I feel like I've, you know, kind of reading, if I read 2 or 3 books a year, that's a big deal. Like, but of course, I also had to give myself grace because, you know, I was having kids. I had the business, there was a lot going on. So, but now, you know, my kids being a little older, I think I can start going back into reading more and just putting that back into my schedule like I used to. And so we'll see. But here we are. They are the 2 books that I plan to read this month and see how. And then like I said, I'll share with you guys what I learn or what I think is helpful in there. There's always something helpful in books. But that's kind of what I'm, you know, I'm kind of looking into this month of February. And something else that I didn't, you know, usually in January, I'm so into goals and productivity and stuff, which is something I'm kind of like detoxing myself out of and really living out of intention more than the goal-oriented kind of lifestyle. So this year I purposely didn't do any goal planning whatsoever. I said to myself, I was going to take the whole month to think about things and to pray about things before I even set the goals. Because usually I'm in a rush in January to like, I need to have goals for the year. I need to have goals for the year. And I really want to lean into intentions. And if you haven't seen the video about goals versus intentions, so check out it's one of the videos in my playlist here. So I want to lean into that, into intentions and then setting the goals instead of me just, you know, bombarding myself with goal setting every January. So I took the time this month so that now I'm ready to kind of go into, you know, what are the intentions, what are the goals. And I know a lot of people do this in January, but I just decided I was going to take the time and not necessarily do it in January and start in February after I've kind of figured what it is what are my intentions, what am I actually going after here. So that's kind of where I am with all that. So I don't know what you are doing this month. Share with me in the comments, you know, if you have felt like your voice has been squished as well, or, you know, you couldn't express yourself, or I don't know, you know, you felt any suppression in your personality, or you are, you know, maybe you're that person that people say you're too much or whatever, and you've made yourself small. I would like to know that in the comments, like what area do you feel like you've made yourself small? And, you know, especially for women who are ambitious, we tend to have areas that we can be very bold and do all these great things. And then there are certain areas in our lives that we are very timid and we make ourselves small. So if you're that type of person, share in the comments. Let me know what where you are. Also, let me know what you do for Sundays. You know, what is your routine? How do you take care of yourself? I do try to make my Sundays, you know, like of course going to church. That's a priority for me and my my family to go. So, but I'm trying to really create rhythms in my days now so that I'm not, you know, I don't know. I'm not either wasting time or I'm just trying to be productive and not really resting. So I'm trying to create rhythms in my life as well. And I hope you are too, wherever you are. So that's kind of all I had to say for today. And yeah, I've had, so I'm wearing this. This is a necklace that I got. I don't know if you can see it from there. But one of my friends gave me this necklace a while ago. And today I thought I'd wear it. It's from, I can't remember which country in Africa that she got it from, whether it was Kenya or Ethiopia, I'm not sure. But I got this and I was like, oh, I haven't worn this in a while, so I wanted to wear it. But I love it, it's so pretty. And of course, got a lot of compliments today when I was out and about. But yeah, so this is me. And again, if you're new to this channel, my name is Janet, and this is the Second Act Collective. And today I was just, talking about life and what's going on, getting ready for the week, for the coming week. So I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.